Pasadena, CA, January 1, Dwayne Haskins. Photo by Jeff Gross, Getty Images. Like it or not, the Redskins are going to consider drafting a quarterback early in the 2019 NFL Draft. The team has a few veterans at the position, but Alex Smith is likely to miss the 2019 season. With Colt, McCoy and Keenum set to battle for the starting job, the team has a couple of potential stopgaps. But they still want to add young talent to the position. It seems probable that the Skins will draft a quarterback at some point in the draft. The real question is when. They may consider some of the mid-round options. Brett Rypien, nephew of former Redskins quarterback Mark Rypien, has an obvious connection, but also, the team may look to draft one early. 4 quarterbacks figure to go in the first round this season. They are Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, Daniel Jones, and Drew Lock. It's unclear what order these passers will go in, but it seems unlikely that any will last to the second round given the value that teams place on the fifth-year option that first-round picks receive. There aren't a lot of answers at quarterback right now, but there clearly are a handful of teams that need passers. As a result, they may rise up the board. That's something that has happened frequently in the past 5 years, so it won't be surprising to see it happen again. With all that said, here's a look at the teams drafting ahead of the Redskins that could at least consider drafting a quarterback. Page 2 MIAMIFL, December 2, Ryan Tannehill. Photo by Mark Brown, Getty Images. The Dolphins seem unlikely to take a quarterback at the moment. However, it could be argued that among the teams in the NFL, they may need a passer the most. Miami recently traded Ryan Tannehill to the Titans for a 4th-round pick, a swap of late-round picks. The team was always expected to move on from Tannehill this offseason after 6 decent at best seasons with him as their starter. However, they don't have a logical replacement yet, and they may not get one this year. Right now, the Dolphins have 3 quarterbacks on their roster: Ryan Fitzpatrick, Luke Falk, and Jake Rudick. That's not exactly an awe-inspiring depth chart. The team did try to lure Teddy Bridgewater away from the New Orleans Saints, but they weren't able to do that. It seems that the Dolphins may be content to let Fitzpatrick start for a season while they look to build up the rest of their roster. After a year of rebuilding, they can then target a top quarterback in the 2020 NFL Draft, where Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Jake Fromm, and Jacob Eason all seem likely to be early picks. That said, it's still not a foregone conclusion that the Dolphins will pass on a quarterback. They could fall in love with one of the top players in the lead-up to the 2019 NFL Draft. If that happens, they may target their future with the 13th pick. It seems unlikely, but it at least remains possible. So, it can't be counted out. We'll learn more about Miami's plan in the coming weeks. They definitely need a quarterback, but they may ignore the position and focus on 2020 passers instead. Page 3. This is a potential quarterback landing spot that few are talking about. Yes, the Raiders have Derek Carr and they are paying him a lot to be a franchise quarterback. However, that was the previous regime. Mike Mayock and John Gruden could opt to select a potential replacement if they like some of the prospects in the 2019 draft better than Carr. Carr has been a steady passer at the NFL level, and he actually had a better season than most realize he had last year with the Raiders. However, Gruden and Mayock may want a passer with more vertical ability to run their offense. As Roto-World's Evan Silva pointed out, Carr has never been much of a vertical passer. Yet, the Raiders have added a few players that figure to be big-time vertical threats in the team's offense. Nelson. Interesting. After Derek Carr finished second to last in percent of passes attempted 20 yards downfield, 9.2% in year one of John Gruden. In Carr's 2016 career year, he finished 26, 10.0%. Evan Silva, at Evan Silva, March 15, 2019. More from Rigo's Rag. That doesn't necessarily mean that Carr can't run a vertical-based defense. But if the team wants to add a strong-armed quarterback with one of their 3 first-round picks, it could be possible. It's also notable that the Raiders have been tied to guys like Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, and Drew Lock this offseason. All 3 have strong arms. WalterFootball.com's Charlie Campbell recently reported that the team very much likes Murray and Haskins, and they could consider trading Carr if they opt to get one of them with the 4th pick. It's tough to know what Carr would fetch on the open market this offseason, as few teams have needs at the quarterback position. However, if the Raiders waited until the 2020 offseason, they could trade Carr with just $5 million in dead money and possibly offload him to a team that moves on from their starter. Additionally, the team could try and trade Carr in the preseason if a team loses their starter. Or, Carr could start for a year while the rookie develops. There are simply many options for Oakland if they elect to go after a passer. The Raiders seem to very much be in the race for a quarterback. If they deem one worthy, they could opt to select one with the 4th pick while addressing the defensive side of the ball with their other first-round picks. Of course, they could also opt to roll with Carr. Like the Dolphins, it's not expected that they will take a quarterback at this time, but keep an eye on it nonetheless. Page 4 CINCINNATIO, in November 25, Andy Dalton. Photo by Joe Robbins, Getty Images. The Bengals don't get talked about enough as a quarterback-needy team, but they are one. Right now, they have Andy Dalton and Jeff Driscoll on the roster at quarterback along with Brad Kaya. That's not a strong group at all. Dalton has proven to be an average starter who shows bursts of high-end ability. He's similar to Joe Flacco in the way that he can get hot, but can't sustain that level of play throughout the course of a season. Dalton has never won a playoff game for the Bengals, so they may move on from him soon. Additionally, Zach Taylor has come to Cincinnati and he is now entrenched as the head coach there. It's unclear what he thinks of Dalton, but he could opt to try and replace him in the near future. Dalton, 31, can be cut in either of the next 2 seasons with no dead cap. He also could be traded if a team views him as a stopgap starter or a potential top backup. Want your voice heard? Join the Riggo's Rag team. Write for us. Even if the Bengals do hold on to Dalton, they could still opt to add competition. If a guy like Haskins, Lock, or Jones is on the board with the 11th pick, they could be tempted to bring one on board and have them compete with Dalton. The rookie may not start right away, but he would at least be an upgrade over Driscoll, who didn't show anything more than backup ability in relief of Dalton last season. Unless the Bengals make a pre-draft move for a quarterback, don't count them out for adding a young player at the position. It's well within the realm of possibility that they do that to give Taylor his guy as he tries to right the ship with the Bengals. Page 5 DENVERCO, November 4, quarterback Case Keenum. Photo by Dustin Bradford, Getty Images. Trading for Joe Flacco isn't going to stop the Broncos from targeting a quarterback in the first round. If they like a player enough, they could take him in the first round to provide an insurance policy behind their newly minted 34-year-old starter. After trading Case Keenum to the Redskins, the Broncos don't have a lot of depth at the quarterback position. They have former Redskins third-stringer Kevin Hogan and former Saint Garrett Grayson. However, they don't have a surefire future at the position or any certainty at the backup quarterback position. For that reason, Denver could consider a passer. They have been rumored to like Drew Lock throughout the draft process, and that's part of why I have had Lock mocked to the Broncos in a couple of my mock drafts. In my second mock, this is what I said about the possibility of Lock joining the Broncos. If the Broncos move up, I have to imagine that they will target Drew Lock. Multiple reports have linked Lock to the Broncos, and Mark Hislop of the Denver Post is reporting that Elway is smitten with Lock. That would seemingly make the Missouri quarterback the team's top target. Locke has one of the better arms in the 2019 NFL Draft, and he will certainly have a chance to be a gunslinger at the NFL level. He will have to work on his accuracy as he can be a bit too hot with his throws, but he has the leadership skills and drive needed to be a solid contributor at the NFL level. He was probably the best quarterback at the Senior Bowl, so that should help him continue to rise, especially if he has great interviews once again at the NFL Combine. Locke fell a bit behind Murray and Haskins in the court of public opinion at the Combine, so he could still be available with the 10th pick. If he's on the board, expect the Broncos to strongly consider taking him. Page 6. Use your arrows to browse Seattle. December 30th, Josh Rosen. Photo by Otto Gruel Jr., Getty Images. Last offseason, the Cardinals drafted their franchise quarterback for the future in Josh Rosen. While the team struggled last season, many expected them to build around Rosen with new offensive-minded coach Cliff Kingsbury as they try to rapidly rebuild their team. Not so fast. Apparently, the Cardinals are now strongly considering taking Kyler Murray with the first overall pick. This was once just thought to be a ridiculous rumor fueled by the fact that Kingsbury had said that he would take Murray No. 1 overall when he was the coach at Texas A&M. And now many believe that Murray will be the first player off the board in 2019. Of course, this could all be an elaborate smokescreen. The Cardinals may want to add extra picks and could be trying to increase Murray's value to manufacture better trade options. The Raiders are rumored to like Murray, so they could be candidates to move up from the 4th spot to get him. So, the Cardinals could be leveraging this to try and gain extra picks while adding a top defensive player. The other side of this coin is that Kingsbury could legitimately like Murray better than Rosen. And he could be trying to move Rosen. That's one of the reasons that Rosen has been tied to teams like the Redskins in trade talks. But, for now, nothing has come of that. Nobody knows exactly what the Cardinals are planning to do. But at the moment, it seems likely that Murray will be the first pick in the draft. It's just a matter of who will be taking him there. Use your arrows to browse.